you for joining Acupuncture Explains, Acupuncture Physician Explains. Alright. Now, I want to talk about more about acupuncture, but also about the mitochondria. What is the mitochondria? In school, I'm sure y'all learned that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, and that is true. One of the main functions is to provide energy, ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Okay? Oh, sorry about that. That's one of the things that it does. But why would I tell you that it's also responsible for a lot of functions in our body? It could be linked to aging. It could be linked to longer health. It could be linked to a lot of chronic conditions, Alzheimer's, dementia, um, diabetes, Crohn's disease, lupus. It's linked to a lot of stuff. Why is that? Because also insomnia. So during the daytime, when we're awake, we need energy to function. So our mitochondria is working overtime, producing ATP for us to function, right? Okay, perfect. But what happens is that because of all that working, there tend to be some, they tend to lose some electrons, which we call free radicals. Put it this way: electrons have to be paired up. Okay, electrons have to be paired up. When electrons are not paired up, then they're gonna look into steal an electron from like another molecule. All right. So what happens with free radicals in our body is that if we have too many of these free radicals or free electrons, it's gonna go ripping off electrons from other parts of the body that we need. So that's why we hear foods like antioxidants. That's because antioxidants, like especially, provide that extra electron for the some free radicals, and so we call that basically just free radicals or free electrons. We call that reactive oxidative stress, right? Reactive oxidative stress. That's what it is. So most scientists think we sleep because our body needs time to basically give our mitochondria a rest. Our body needs time just to reduce the amount of activity that the mitochondria is doing. So those free electrons or radicals or the oxidative stress that's been put on throughout the day can have a time to stabilize, right? And also mitochondria has a process, what it say, mitochondrial fusion and fission. So, fusion basically when two mitochondria get together, share information, basically, that's how they produce. But then fission is when the, give me a second, y'all. So yeah, I was saying that. So then, mitochondrial fission, it basically, the old mitochondria, dies out or whatever. But then, once they die out, they have to be removed because it's going to take up more space and more junk in the cells. So, mitochondrial fusion and fission are very important to the health of just overall mitochondrial health. Right? All that to say that if that balance is not properly balanced, that can cause pathologies. Right? Dementia, Alzheimer's. I'm also working on a project for CTE for athletes, NFL players, MMA fighters, boxers, people in general that's susceptible to like head traumas. I'm working on a treatment plan that I think hopefully can revolutionize the whole CTE industry. Well, not industry, but the whole revolutionize how we treat people with suspected CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Right? Encephalopathy. Now, the way the diagnosis of CTE in athletes is usually done when they're dead. So there's no way to properly diagnose somebody with CTE while they're alive, but the symptoms could be there. Symptoms could be like headaches, of course, depression, suicidal thoughts, unalive thoughts. And people think that concussions, is from one big head blow, but usually CTE is probably formed early in life, sports, and we call it micro concussions. Just for instance, football, right? Every play is like a little, collision, boom, 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 almost every play, boom. The small little micro concussions, we call it. Those are the culprits for actually forming CTE, right? That's why I said it's very important that we get to the bottom of this, because athletes want to be able to live their life the best way they can as they get older, right? So I'm coming up with a treatment plan, hopefully that can help these athletes, and anybody who are suspected, but also too, it's good for dementia, it's good for Alzheimer's, right? I mean, when I say a lot of issues. So I'm excited because the more research I do about this, the more I realize, man, I think there's a way we can help a lot of people. Now, acupuncture, as you know, our body's full of acupuncture points, meridians we call it, or channels. And when we diagnose patients, we diagnose it by patterns, not necessarily, Western medicine diagnosis. For instance, if somebody comes in for stress, right? We may say stress, but as acupuncturists, we usually say that person has probably liver qi stagnation. If somebody comes in with headaches and they're stressed a lot, or irregular cycle, liver qi stagnation can cause that, because the liver channel in Chinese medicine is responsible for the free flow of blood and qi. So if it's stagnated, the qi in the blood isn't going to the rest of the body properly, and then that can cause heat. Heat can rise up to the head, cause headaches. Right? So we use different terminology as acupuncture physicians, but at the end of the day, in Western medicine, there's the homeostasis, nice balance. In Chinese medicine, we call it the yin and the yang, right? And what I'm trying to do is, well, not trying to do. What I'm thinking about doing is, basically, every patient that I treat, not every patient, but most patients that I treat, I'm probably gonna just try to do a certain set of points each time, just to build up the mitochondrial health. Mitochondria is important, y'all. And what's crazy about the mitochondria in our cells is that it wasn't originally part of our cell. It was a free-flowing bacteria that got engulfed by a cell, and boom, they're found in all eukaryotic cells, right? Not prokaryotic, eukaryotic. And for plants, a similar function is a chloroplast, right? So this is actually breaking news, to be honest. We all known about the mitochondria for a while, but as more research is being done, it shows that the mitochondria could be the key. Can you imagine the key to longevity and less chronic issues is a bacteria that wasn't even part of our body or part of our makeup? Can you imagine if that's the case? Man. I tell you, boy, that'd be something else, y'all. Give me a second. Sorry for this beat, man. My stupid car beeps every 5-6 minutes, which drives me crazy. Every Ford Explorer around this year does that. It seems like. So excuse the noise. Yeah, y'all. Sorry about the noise, y'all. But yeah, sorry about that, y'all. So now, as I talk about mobile acupuncture, how many of y'all are starting from? How many of y'all have stress, constipation, diarrhea, irregular menstruation? How many of y'all have that? Acupuncture can help with that. Acupuncture can definitely help with that, y'all. And that's why I want y'all to realize that when it comes to acupuncture, it does a lot. And I'm not just saying that because I'm an acupuncture physician. I'm saying that because it's the truth, Hey, y'all, come follow me to the store. I gotta get my morning coffee. But let me know. I want all my subscribers on this channel and everyone listening to, feel free to ask me questions about your health. I can't give you medical advice, of course, but I can give you an overall, definition of certain diseases and chronic diseases. All right. So yes, I'm at the store right now. But yeah,
No, mi amor, gracias.
yeah. How you doing? One colada, please. Yes.
Good morning.
Oh, you're good. You're welcome. Yes, sorry about that. But yeah.
Anybody else want something?
Oh, no, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, all right, take it easy.
All right.
But yeah. But yeah, so I'm out here right now getting my money coffee. Yeah, so if you have any health issues, let me know. I can't give you medical advice, of course. You know, I'm gonna try to educate people on, on this channel. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so yeah, man. But like I said, acupuncture does wonders, y'all, and I want y'all to realize that. All right, I encourage y'all to go visit your local acupuncturist. All right, I don't know which part of the country y'all from. I have fans. Sorry, I have listeners from all over the world, and look up acupuncture, see which acupuncturist is close to you, and see if it's right for you. You know, you'd be surprised. As acupuncturists, we use needles. We use needles to activate acupuncture points. Now, some people are scared of needles, and let me tell you, sometimes I needle myself, and the needles don't hurt at all. The needles don't hurt at all. All right. So I encourage all y'all to go. You know. So most of the acupuncture points are named after channels. All right. I got videos on this on my channel. So if you need a recap or just learn about acupuncture, but I want to talk more about the mitochondrial health. Right. We need to be aware of our mitochondrial health. No one mentions that word before. No one mentions it in that aspect, mitochondrial health. But having healthy mitochondria could possibly be the link, be the secret to living longer, to having less chronic issues. All right, that could possibly be the secret, y'all. All right. Um, I'm gonna try to. Oh, I'm not gonna try. I'm gonna write a book. I'm thinking about writing another book, and this book is gonna be about mitochondrial health. I'm also gonna write a book about magnesium. Let's talk about magnesium for a while. Magnesium is, to me, the most important mineral that we need in our body. Most of us are actually low in magnesium. Magnesium is good for a lot of stuff. I'm talking about stress, high blood pressure. I mean, all type of issues. All right. So some people who take magnesium take the wrong type. When it comes to taking vitamins or supplements, it's all about absorption. All right. So a lot of the magnesium out there have poor absorption, meaning that you could take it, but it's gonna go right through. So you need some magnesium that's gonna be absorbed more by your body. That's why I like magnesium citrate. Magnesium citrate, to me, is one of the best types of magnesium out there because more of your body absorbs it, so therefore it can function properly. Right? Magnesium glycinate is also a good magnesium, also a good and combine that with my mitochondrial treatment, combine that with my mitochondrial health treatment protocol. I think I like that mitochondrial health treatment protocol. Mitochondria MHTP, MHTP. Yes. Hey y'all, smash that like button for me. Smash that like button. Let's get this channel growing, y'all. But so yeah, that's the thing about that. And I think with the right type of acupuncture treatment protocol for mitochondrial health combined with magnesium and certain foods also recommend, it's also blueberries is rich in antioxidants, right? Blueberries are rich in antioxidants. Remember, antioxidants takes care of the free radicals because of the reactive oxidative stress that a mitochondria produces as a byproduct from working so hard all throughout the day and night, right? And sleep is, hey, I can't stress this enough. Sleep is very important, chat. Sleep is very important, all right? Think about it. Sleep is so important that every animal does it, even though it may put them in danger. Picture like zebras in the wild. Zebras are surrounded by predators, right? But sleep is so important that they're willing to risk being eaten because they have to sleep. So what does that tell you? It tells you that sleep has a lot of benefits. A lot of benefits. And research shows that if you don't get the proper amount of sleep, it can also lead to a whole bunch of chronic health issues. So you see how everything is linked together? You know? You see how everything is linked together? The science is there for us. Oh, speaking of science, there's a alarming there's an alarming trend growing on social media. We have false health gurus doing false information. People like Candace Owens doing false medical information. People like Joe Rogan doing false medical information, misinformation and disinformation. All right. So please, I'm not saying you gotta believe me, but always do your own research. All right. So yeah. So basically, back to sleep. Sleep can also solve a lot of issues health-wise. It really can. All right. Now, as far as how many hours of sleep, it can vary. They say 6 to 8 hours. Everyone's different for the most part. But 6 to 8 hours, and also try to go to sleep at the same time. Right? Your body has its own internal clock, circadian rhythm. Try to go to sleep at the same time each night and wake up at the same time. That way, your body pretty much knows, okay, physical to sleep at 10 o'clock, so therefore your body gets prepared. Also, if you have trouble sleeping, what you can do is, if you're tossing and turning, get out of bed, go to the living room somewhere, chill, and then maybe half an hour later or so, then go back in bed. All right? Don't struggle to sleep while you're in bed because your mind is gonna associate your bed with trouble sleeping, and it can get worse. So if you're having trouble sleeping, right? What you can do is, like I said, get out of bed, go to the living room, watch TV for like half an hour or so, and then go back to your bed afterwards, okay? Because that way your brain is gonna say, okay, your brain is gonna associate the sleep with the bed instead of the bed with trouble sleeping, right? Excuse the noise, y'all. I apologize for the noise. This thing drives me crazy. But overall, there's a lot to talk about, y'all. There's a lot to talk about. Again, my book is gonna come out soon. It's gonna be about all the mitochondrial health. Mitochondria is a organelle in our body. That's the powerhouse of the cell, which it is, but it also does a lot more issues. Okay. There's a way to stay looking younger. There's a way to live longer. There's a way to have less chronic health issues, all of us. But it's gonna start with you first. Again, do your own research. Remember, I cannot provide medical information, advice. What I'm doing is for educational purposes only, okay? This channel is for educational purposes only. Always do your own research. If you have any questions, always talk to your doctor if you have any health questions or medical concerns, right? This channel is not for medical advice. This channel is not to diagnose people on this channel. This channel is not to, I'm not your, doctor, right? I'm just here to provide general information about health, about certain diseases, about certain pathologies, certain organs, cells, right? But, and also, it's just so much going on. That's why it's good to support good scientific research. All right. Like I said, unfortunately, there are some bad apples out there in social media spreading mis and disinformation about medicine. All right. Joe Rogan is one of them, spreading misinformation. And sometimes misinformation, it may be disinformation. Candace Owens for sure is spreading misinformation and probably disinformation. Right? It drives me crazy. And these people have a lot of, Candace Owens, Joe Rogan have a lot of, and people like them, these grifters have a lot of um, followers who believe this false information about medicine. Anyway, I go on. That's a subject for another day. But, so, blueberries are a good source of antioxidants. Blueberries also been proven in the lab to improve your natural killer cells. What are natural killer cells? Natural killer cells is a huge, it's part of your immune system. And these cells, unlike other white, it's a white blood cell. Unlike other white blood cells that once they engulf something, they usually die. Natural killer cells can engulf multiple viruses and bacteria without dying right away. And these cells patrol our body every single day looking for cancer cells. Believe it or not, every, all of us have cancer cells in our body every day. But our natural killer cells finds them and destroys them before it gets out of hand. So if you have poor immune system or taking a carcinogenic substance, that can cause your natural killer cells to be overwhelmed by these cancer cells, and that's when cancer possibly can, take off and become an issue. So blueberries have been proven to boost up your natural killer cell count, right? What a cool name too, right? Natural killer cells, right? But yeah, it's a real cell, right? So we could do little things like that to keep us alive, but also to keep us healthy as possible. Because at the end of the day, all we have is our health, right? Money is great and this is great and whatever, but our health is important. Now, of course, I got to talk about smoking and alcohol to be, substance and everything, right? Now, I'm not saying I'm a goody two shoes, but I don't drink. I am 51 years old and I never been drunk. I never been drunk before. I never been drunk before, y'all. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't smoke weed. I'm not saying I'm a goody two shoes. I'm just saying I don't do those things, right? Because there's a rule in medicine that, or should be a rule that if you don't have to put it in your body, don't put it in your body. Meaning that alcohol, especially hard liquor, it's it's poison, right? It's literally poison. Our liver is our second largest organ. It does a wonderful job detoxifying toxins that goes into our body, like hard liquor, or liquor in general, or alcohol. But it can be overwhelmed also, right? Give me a second, y'all. The stupid beeping again. Yeah, it can be overwhelmed also, right? I'm not saying don't drink liquor ever again. I'm just saying you should cut back on your alcohol consumption, right? Cut down on your alcohol consumption. If you smoke cigarettes, stop, right? Acupuncture can help with the smoking cessation, right? Acupuncture can help reduce the cravings of cigarettes. Alcohol can help with substance abuse, with drug addiction. Believe it or not, we can help with that. So there's hope for y'all. So I mentioned all this, blueberries, magnesium, mitochondrial health. I mentioned all that. But if you go do everything I say with the magnesium and all this, or smoke 100 packs a day, you're kind of balancing the good you did for your body, and that's the point I'm saying. It's like somebody, it's like a bodybuilder comes to my office because of a sore shoulder or something, right? And I do acupuncture on him. and then he goes out and lift weights the next day. I'm like, what you doing? You're kind of balancing the effects that, positive effects. So that's the point I'm saying. That is the point I'm saying. You have to, come on, hey y'all, smash that like button, man. Smash that like button for me. So yeah, that's my point I'm saying. We gotta think smarter, people. We gotta think smarter. Headaches. A lot of y'all have migraines. Headaches. Some of y'all have it every day, which is crazy, right? Acupuncture can help with that. And the right mitochondrial health can also help with that also. So you see the trend here? You see the trend? Excuse me, y'all. I just got to work. Yeah, so weight loss. Acupuncture can help with weight loss, but I'm gonna tell you something. When it comes to weight loss, alright, chat, there's no magic pill out there or potion. I know Ozempic is big right now, okay? Ozempic was designed for people with type 2 diabetes. But Ozempic, side effect is also losing weight and also losing your hair too. I'll get to that another time. But yeah, Ozempic can cause you to lose weight for sure. But did you know that once you stop using it, the weight usually comes back? That part they don't tell you. They don't tell you that part, right? With Ozempic, the weight will come back if you stop using it. So that's the thing about that, So look, I'm not here to scare you. I'm not here to get on my high horse or anything like that. I'm just here to let you know that you can't. I'm here to tell you that we gotta take charge of of your body. All right, y'all. I gotta go to work now. Thanks for joining me. I'll see y'all later. All right, peace.